take a look at this scene. This is what the nation of Brazil looked like just yesterday in a massive outpouring of support for their Patriot president, Jair Bolsonaro, often dubbed the tropical Trump. This is why leftists are so panicked. They're panicked because they're realizing more and more that patriots are poised to take over the West. In this video, we're going to look at 5 transformations that patriots are enacting that are redefining the political order, not just here in the United States, but indeed around the world. And so sit back and prepare to be encouraged for the 5 ways patriots are transforming the world order. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve with you. Wonderful to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. As each and every day, I provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is Prepper's Peak new solar water heater. With all the lockdowns we just witnessed over the last year, this solar water heater can turn out to be our very best friend. A solar water heater is an amazing device. It allows you to heat and boil water outdoors using simply sunlight. It can heat water in as little as 30 minutes. It works anywhere the sun shines. It can be used to boil water, to cook noodles and rice, and sterilize water for drinking, you name it. And the best part is that if you click on that link below right now, you're going to get an additional 15% off their already reduced price. So don't wait. This is a limited time offer. Click on that link below before they sell out and get your own Patriot Sun cooker today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Look, gang, whenever you feel like the left has won, whenever you feel like everything around you is just going to hell in a handbasket, whenever you despair, whenever you feel like it's time to build the bunker for the foreseeable future, you need to start reading leftist websites, or better just watch my videos. I'll read them for you. A recurring theme that I'm hearing among leftists is a panic, and I do not choose that word lightly. I mean a very real panic that patriots, or as they would call us, right-wing radicals, patriots are poised to take power literally over the whole of the West. And perhaps the most alarmist article I came across of late is from the ultra-left website The Nation in a piece entitled, "Go Ahead, Worry," a worst-case scenario for American democracy. And the byline reads, "The American far right has transformed politics in unprecedented ways. Can this be reversed?" So again, we should note here, when I say that the left is panicking right now as we speak, that's not hyperbole. According to this leftist outlet, yes, it is time to worry. We are facing nothing less than a worst-case scenario for American democracy. Now, of course, it has not one whit to do with democracy, as we talked about in our last video on the Taliban destroying George Floyd murals. It does have everything to do with the destruction of left-wing progressive liberalism. It has nothing to do with democracy, that's for sure. And it's most certainly time to panic if you're a leftist. All you have to do is listen to your fellow progressives. They're right, or take a look at those crowds. The piece is by a radical Libby professor from the University of Washington, and its contents do live up to the hysterics of the title, but I have to say, he does do a nice job of helpfully listing out, I think, a very accurate overview of the multiple ways in which patriots have indeed, in his words, transformed the political order and continue to do so. And so what I want to do in this video to encourage you here is to give you an overview of the various transformations that are setting the stage for a massive takeover by patriots, particularly here in the States. But as you can see, it's also having a comparable effect in other places throughout the world. So let's look at 5 patriot transformations that are absolutely redefining the political order. First and foremost, we've got to start with the Trumpist Takeover of the Republican Party. Now, I did a video you'll definitely want to check out on how Trump is indeed running a very real shadow government. I'll link it down below for you so you can watch after this video. But what's so interesting here to understand is that this observation that Trump is running a shadow government, this is actually coming from left-wingers. This isn't right-wing wishful thinking here. This is the assessment of real bona fide leftist pundits. In fact, you have no less than Senator Lindsey Graham admitting this. At the heart of the shadow government, which I get into in the other video, keep in mind, shadow government is actually a technical term used in parliamentary politics for a backup government in case the governing coalition, the parliament, dissolves, okay? But the key here is that Trump is indeed calling the shots at both the federal level and state level in terms of how the Republicans govern. Okay, so President Trump, in holding all of these rallies and maintaining contact with his tens of millions of supporters through email, as well as amassing tens of millions of dollars in his campaign war chest through his Save America PAC, he is indeed effectively governing, quite literally, a significant portion of the nation through a combination of denouncing the Biden regime as inherently legitimate on the one hand and competent and the like, and radically influencing, if not indeed directing, GOP policies at the federal and state levels on the other hand. And this takeover, the Republican Party, has effectively transformed the Republican Party into the Patriot Party. Okay, and we're seeing comparable Patriot takeovers in Europe and throughout much of the world. Matteo Salvini and Giorgia Meloni have taken over the right in Europe. Viktor Orban in Hungary, the Law and Justice Party in Poland, Marine Le Pen in France, the BJP in India, Bolsonaro in Brazil. We could keep going and going. So that's the first major transformation. Political parties that have traditionally been characterized by center-right politics have been radically transformed by a new patriot populist representation. Secondly, we're seeing nothing less than a mass proliferation of patriots taking over local GOP precinct levels. Now, this is in no small part due to Steve Bannon's precinct strategy, which involves patriots across the nation signing up as precinct officers to oversee elections. And since Bannon's campaign, his announcement of his strategy, upwards of nearly 10,000 patriots have signed up and taken over GOP precincts, all but guaranteeing that the next elections are going to be governed at the grassroots level, at the local precinct level, by MAGA-loving patriots. This is absolutely huge. And again, the left is utterly panicked over this. They don't have anything comparable to this. They're panicked that patriots have effectively infiltrated. Keep in mind, that's their word. Patriots have infiltrated the American electoral system so as to secure election integrity. And the leftists, they're utterly horrified over this. The third transformation is related to this, and that's, of course, the extraordinary amount of election integrity laws that have been passed just in the last few months. It really is rather astonishing. According to the ultra-left Brennan Center for Justice, nearly 20 states have enacted 30 laws securing voter integrity, or in their progressive terms, restricted access to vote. But leftists know, as this fellow explicitly admits in this piece for The Nation, leftists know that voter integrity debilitates their Democratic base. And again, we're talking the most minimal of requirements like voter ID and signature verification. The left has actually done everything they possibly can to oppose these measures, and they're increasingly looking ridiculous in the process. Patriots have won the voter ID debate hands down. Rasmussen found back in March, 75% of likely voters support voter identification requirements. Or as I like to put it, 75% of likely voters support what Democrats oppose. 75% of voters support what leftists like this professor writing for The Nation oppose. And by the way, that includes 69% of black voters. 69% of black voters, 75% of overall voters support precisely the kind of voter ID requirements Democrats are doing everything they can to get rid of. So patriots have won the voter ID and voter integrity debate hands down, and the left is panicking over that. So we got Trumpists taking over the GOP, turning into the Patriot Party. We got patriots taking over local election precincts throughout the nation. We got nearly 20 voter integrity laws passed in a matter of just a few months. There's a fourth transformation going on that's terrifying the left, and that's the surge in patriot militias going on right now throughout the nation. Now, again, you're going to love a documentary that we put together, a short documentary on this channel, what's behind the surge in patriot militias. Again, I'll put that link down below for you as well to watch after this video and the next one. But suffice it to say, what's really freaking out leftists is the fact that law enforcement and military personnel have begun to join national and statewide militia organizations in droves. Actually, some of the media are suggesting that militias and law enforcement right now are basically becoming indistinguishable. And this is starting to freak out the left because they're recognizing that while they may have wokeified, military leadership like Mark Milley or police chiefs in our nation's cities, The rank and file military and law enforcement folks are becoming intimately linked with patriot movements across the nation. And finally, the fifth patriot transformation is the rise of a massive patriot media complex that daily disseminates truth and cuts through the filth of the fake news in the mainstream media. And that, of course, is where yours truly comes in. And the rise of talk radio and Newsmax and Fox, however disappointing, of course, Fox. Nevertheless, there are thousands of alt media sites that every day declare truth and cut through all this globalist nonsense. And this, again, is freaking out the left because they see this information dissemination as both creating as well as mobilizing a massive patriot movement that threatens to completely overturn the liberal globalist political order. And so here we can see 5 political transformations that are utterly horrifying the left. And in many respects, each and every one of these transformations are combining together to launch patriots into power, not just here in the United States, but indeed around the world in such a way that will redefine the global political order for generations to come. Now, before you go, I'll put both links of those videos down below for you, but why not just start off with a Trump running a shadow government? You absolutely love one. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.